Chandler Morris is suing the NCAA for a 7th year of eligibility. Will he get it? And how does this affect Virginia?
You're talking ball with the ACC Squad. From Florida State to North Carolina, from Syracuse to Miami, and from NC State to California, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming ACC weekend. Hang on, it could get loud, it could get heated, and it will definitely be fun. Squad up, you're part of the ACC Squad.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into this edition of the Locked On ACC Squad. I'm Jackson Holzer, host of Locked On Syracuse. Kenton Gibbs, host of Locked On NC State Wolfpack. You got JJ Jackson, host of Locked On Blue Devils, and Brian Smith, host of Locked On Florida State Seminoles, Portal Podcast, recruiting expert, all that and more here on the Locked On Podcast Network. And thank you so much for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Of course, we're always free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And on today's show, how many teams is the ACC going to get in March Madness, which is right around the corner? We're just a few weeks away. Kenton saying 8, 9, potentially, perhaps, maybe. We'll talk about that throughout the show. But first and foremost, Virginia may have its quarterback again for the 2026 season, because it's another week here on ACC Squad, and it's another lawsuit that we get to talk about here on ACC Squad. Chandler Morris is suing the NCAA for a 7th year of eligibility. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, this episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Your cake, or have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back, no fork needed. Vanilla-y cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. So according to multiple reports out there, Chandler Morris at Virginia, its quarterback, 10-win Virginia from last season, is suing the NCAA for a 7th year of eligibility. Guys, what are your thoughts? Who wants to buy the first round?
Kenton, go right ahead.
Yeah, he's ready.
You're muted, buddy.
And he's muted.
See, that's the big Virginia lobby trying to shut me down. You know, go get a job. Just in case I'm still muted. J-O-B.
LinkedIn. Indeed.
When you are hitting the age.
Recruiter.
Exactly. Monster. You know, wherever you got to go. Glassdoor. I know we're sponsored by Indeed. I'm sorry to our sponsors, but there's so many job sites. Stop this. What are we doing? Here's the deal. Like, to me, when you are so old, if you were to mess with any of the incoming freshmen on a romantic level, people would look at you like a weirdo. It might be time for you to go. It might be time. You're 25. Your age is going to round up to 30, brother. Get off that college campus. Go on somewhere. Here's the thing that's so confusing to me about this. How did we get here? And I'm not joking when I ask this question. How did we get to a place where we are now with Trinidad Chambliss? I could see the vision, because it was like there was just paperwork not filled out properly. And although I think that he should go learn just some enterprise rental car or go to the NFL combine or whatever it is that he does next in his life, although I think he should do that too, I fully understand, at least with him, there was just paperwork that was filed inappropriately. Fine. I'm with you there. You're petitioning for a 7th year? How much more eligibility do you need? We've got 4, and then we got a red shirt year. Then we got a medical red shirt year. You're at 6 now. Why do you need a second medical red shirt year? Hey, whatever happened, God didn't intend for you to play no more, brother. Go on about your way. And the worst part of this is the system is so rigged. It is so asinine. It is so foolish. Let's think of this from a logical standpoint, right? If a player at one of the North Carolina institutions was to have a similar problem, right? What law school did the judge that's there probably go to?
One of the Carolina schools.
Probably North Carolina law. Probably Duke law. Now, there is a chance that they went to Elon or Campbell law. That there's a chance NCCU law in there as well.
Yeah.
But The biggest law schools always belong to whom? The biggest state schools. So there's a chance that we end up with the Trinidad Chambliss thing all over again, where did the judge that presided over his case go to law school?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss Law School. This is a shame that we're sitting in this situation. And how many years are we going to keep this going? Because somebody's going to petition for an eighth one of these days. And then there's going to be, well, what's the problem? The precedence was set for the seventh.
How about the magic number 10? 10 years.
All right. Miami had one of those guys.
In college football.
And listen, at that point, we need to stop calling it college football. We just need to call it football on campus, okay? Because that's no longer college football.
I hope the precedent is not set for this because we've already had enough problems. I will give credit to the judge in Knox County in Tennessee because he's a Tennessee guy, and he turned down Joey Aguilar. So there is precedent on both sides, just to be fair. That guy's probably getting more, and I mean this literally, probably getting death threats, if I wouldn't be surprised at all from Tennessee fans. That took guts. But he spoke his mind, and maybe the guys will do this in Virginia. I'm thinking it's going to go the way Kenton said, but at the same time, it's possible. But has anybody heard what the specific reason is that he thinks he can get a seventh year?
I'm going to read the article from CBS Sports, and I'm going to read it verbatim. The basis of Morris's waiver request was that he sustained injuries at TCU in 2022 and 2023, and he argued that he should have qualified for medical red shirts in both campaigns. That's his argument.
But he took a red shirt as well. It's baseline in the. Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's an insane. Sorry, JJ. I'll give you the floor in just a moment, but it's just insane because in 2023 he played 7 games. Like that. Okay, that's it.
Over half.
That's over. Done. Like you're done. Like he played 7 games. He has a 5-game season in 2020, a 7-game season in 2023, a 12-game season in 2024, and in 2025 this past year he played 14 games. He's done.
Yeah, you've played college football. I mean, the clock is expired for sure. When you said, making a basis on a 2022 and 2023 season, I can't help but think, so is this really a lawsuit for a 7th and 8th year? If he's trying to throw out all these years and throw everything together in regards to medical red shirt. And someone like Chandler Morris, who is so set up, like let's say it for the world to remind people, son of Chad Morris, who is as well connected in the college football world as anybody. I mean, he's got plenty of opportunities to start his own football coaching career, which I think would likely be in his future, knowing what he grew up around with his dad doing that. I mean, there were so many opportunities for him to kind of end the playing side of things. And dude, go set up other parts of your football life beyond the field. This is wild. I really do not want to see this go in his favor. Just again, the precedent, like we said, I think is so paramount that it gets set appropriately so that people know when it's officially time to move on from college football.
And I do want to make clear, this is not about Chandler Morris to me. This is not about, UVA doesn't deserve to have another good year or anything like that. I was the biggest supporter of UVA during their run and said, like, this is fantastic. And, if any coach deserves this moment is Tony Elliott, who has been through so much non-football stuff that you could not imagine, right, as the head coach of UVA. But this is foolishness. I would say the same thing if this was C.J. Bailey petitioning to come back. I would say the same thing if this was Davin Vann petitioning to come back. I would say the same thing if it was anybody from any team, because at a certain point in time, I get it, right? We're paying players. We're walking away from amateurism, all that stuff. Good, great. But if we are doing professional football where guys just happen to be on campus, let's just call it that. Let's stop calling this college football because it's no longer about college in any form. It's no longer about academics. It hasn't been for a while. I'm okay with admitting that. I'm okay with admitting everybody says school first, football second. School first, football second. For our audio-only listeners, I'm putting up 2 fingers when I say school first, putting up 1 finger when I say football second. But it still should be, at some point in time, a principle of this is now a safety hazard because a quarterback that's 25 playing against 18-year-olds, sure, that's not a big deal. Now, imagine a 25-year-old edge rusher that should have been in the league for quite some time. But for whatever reason, he's a one-trick pony or he lacks this or that and cannot be the edge rusher that'll get drafted where he wants to. So he's collecting massive amounts of NIL in college and decimating 19, 20-year-old left tackles and guards. That's a very different health scenario than a 25-year-old quarterback slinging a rock around the yard.
The other thing I'm curious about, they got Bo Perbula and Eli Holstein. I don't know how that's working out, but that's a storyline.
Interesting, sure.
Because they got two former
crowded
guys that have started. I mean, hey, did you want to tell me about this, coach? Like, I mean, I get your whole thing with that. If he's allowing, there's some gray area there.
My guess is that it's not going to happen. That he's not going to get a 7th year, barring the judge, being a Virginia alum. If it is a Virginia alum that's presiding over this case, we don't know that for sure at the time of this recording. But I respect trying, because I think, Kenton, you kind of
Virginia judge might be saying, like Brian just said, he's like, no, we're good. We already got these quarterbacks coming.
That's true.
We don't need you to come back. Chandler
That's
Morris.
true.
That might be an easy review for the judge to make.
True. But I think Kenton hit the nail on the head. He hit the nail on the head here. And I would like to add to it, which is that there's a reason why these guys are doing it. It's because you can do it. There's nothing against the law that says you can't sue the NCAA. The NCAA is incredibly vulnerable as is anyway. And number two, it's that these guys are not good enough for the pros. If these guys were good enough for the pros, they would be in the combine, be in the draft, and they would be professionals. Maybe Trinidad Chambliss is a little bit different, because he could maybe raise his stock with another year of college football. But for Joey Aguilar and Chandler Morris, these are not guys who are going to be slinging the rock on Sundays. And we all know that. So their only way to really continuing their football career is to get as many years as possible in the NCAA. And, oh, by the way, you'll get a nice fat paycheck too, a bigger paycheck than anything you'll be doing post-college, unless there's a business that you're running that we don't know of. So it makes sense why trying it, but I'm with you all that I don't see why this should go through at all. Chandler Morris should join the workforce when this lawsuit hopefully does not go his way. But respect the hustle to Chandler Morris. Any last thoughts?
No.
All right. Well, coming up here on the Locked On ACC Squad, we'll shift gears. We'll go to the hardwood. We'll talk about ACC and its bracketology coming up here on the ACC Squad.
I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. South Carolina rolled past Ole Miss 85-48 to clinch a share of the SEC regular season title and lock down the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. The Gamecocks extended their win streak over Ole Miss to 21 straight. UCLA dominated Wisconsin 80-60 to secure its first outright Big Ten regular season championship in program history. The Bruins improved to 27-1 overall and remain unbeaten in conference play. And number 12 TCU stormed back from a 13-point fourth quarter deficit to beat Iowa State 80-73. The Horned Frogs now sit alone atop the Big 12 standings and are 1 win away from clinching another regular season conference crown. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. And here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to lock it in. And now not only can you pick your cash, but it could also send you to the NBA Finals. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you so much for making the ACC Squad your first listen of the day. And hey, you can get Locked On ACC ad-free with the Everydayer Club, plus members-only Discord access. Join in the description below. And folks, This is the ACC Squad. We shift gears. We're no longer talking about Chandler Morris in the 7th year of eligibility nonsense / lawsuit, whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about the hardwood here. ACC bracketology. Now, at the time of this recording, it is Tuesday evening, February 24th. So things are, of course, subject to change. But the latest ESPN bracketology from Joe Lunardi has the conference getting 8 teams in the NCAA tournament. In addition, there are 2 other teams that are on the outside looking in, but they're on the bubble. First 4 out team, you got Cal. They are the 3rd team listed out. And you got Virginia Tech. That is the 6th team out. So they're in the next 4 out category. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours. How many teams do you think the ACC is going to get into March Madness?
I want to see some wins continue for all these teams. You know, you look at 18 total teams within the league, as you said, 8 currently projected, and I think something that the league could shoot for. If you can make that argument for 9 or 10, so you're looking at half of the league being able to make it into the NCAA tournament. This is such a big difference from where we were a year ago, really the past few years with this conference. So many great coaching hires have been made in the ACC, and I just want to keep this momentum going. I know I'm talking as the Duke guy who's on the way yet again to a likely number 1 seed in the tournament, but I really do love when the whole league has a big footprint on college basketball, just because that's the ACC we're all used to growing up and watching and loving so much, with so many of those programs making it to the NCAA tournament.
I think it would be cool if Cal and some teams that people don't think about as much not only made the tournament, but actually did something too, especially after last year's turd that the ACC had. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. It was bad. So I completely agree with JJ.
You know, Duke is starting to feel like the Blackhawks and Mighty Ducks, where like every year it's just like they trot out all these players that are bigger and better than everybody. And you're like, oh yeah, 13 straight championships and all that good stuff. But I will say, I'd have to agree with the Duke guy on this one. I want to see at least 9 teams in the ACC in. And here's the thing, even when the ACC has our down years, isn't it so interesting how when the tournament happens and we get to lock horns with everybody else, somehow all of those ACC teams end up advancing further and further and further along? Even if you take out Duke, the success of the ACC overall in recent tournaments has been anomalous to how many teams that have been in the tournament. We are not telling you what anomalous means. Look the word up. We're expanding your vocabulary here. So the reality is, I do think that we should get in 8 to 9 teams minimum, because, I mean, this conference really is a bloodbath. This conference really is seeing teams be phenomenal all throughout the season, and then they get knocked off by a team that nobody thinks of. I'm not saying that Florida State's resume qualifies them to be there overall, but look at a team like Florida State. They've taken some terrible losses this year, but they also have wins against Clemson and Miami. Like that is a really, really good team. And the ACC has multiple teams. Obviously, Duke is the cream of the crop. They got a National Player of the Year in Boozer. They've got depth. They've got size. They've got it all. You name it, inside, outside, however you want it, they give it to you. But even beyond them and a team like Virginia, they got size for days and guard play that can carry them through the tournament. But even if you get beyond teams like that, if NC State gets hot from deep, you know what? I don't want to talk about my pack. People are going to call me a homer. SMU and Boofy, come on now. Come on. When SMU gets hot, they can shoot anybody off the floor. And I hate to say it, but I got to give them their credit. Vassar and Wilson, when they are playing, probably the most dynamic front court, probably the most impactful and pivotal front court that we're going to see in terms of if those two are healthy and rolling, it's an entirely different team than if they're not on the floor, as we're seeing. In Miami, you want to talk about physical, a team that just attacks the rim relentlessly. Nobody can shoot worth a damn, but everybody on that squad can get to the rim in a hurry. So you're looking at a conference that has a ton of teams that are doing it the right way. And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to pass it off. The same way that a couple years ago, ACC basketball was in the dumps, but we had to kind of thin the herd a little bit. We had to get rid of some of those coaches that weren't quite getting it done. ACC football is going to need the same thing. Florida State, pony up the damn money. Get Norvell out of there, okay? And this ain't just about Florida State. Boston College, put some money into your team. Syracuse, give Fred Brown some money to play with. You've got to get rid of some of these coaches And when you get in better coaching, just like that, all of a sudden, Miami and NC State, between both teams, have one holdover from last year's team, one combined. And so, to see that those teams are having success in the way that they are this year, it's phenomenal.
There is another brand in the ACC that will definitely have a new coach next season, and it's a big-time brand. I'm not going to say which school it is, but I think you guys can infer what that school is. I'll leave it at that. But right now, 8 teams so far projected in the latest ESPN bracketology. That is phenomenal, considering that last year, what was there, 3 teams in the ACC that got in? And
4 teams. Yeah,
4 teams that got in, and all of them were out by the time the round of 32 started, except for Duke, which, yeah, they went to the Final Four, but that's kind of like what Miami did this past year in football, which is carry the ACC on its own while the rest of the conference completely stinks it up. But
what did the SEC do in the college football playoff besides beat each other and lose to everybody else?
Listen, this isn't about the SEC. We're just talking about the ACC right now. And I'm very consistent. I said this last year about the basketball team, or about the basketball side of the conference, and this year I was saying it about the football conference. But it is awesome that the ACC is getting a lot of respect this time around, but it's also earned respect because we saw this in non-conference play when they were going up against other conferences, and we were seeing our teams in the conference, not my team, but other teams do very, very well.
Against Tennessee. Your team did well at points.
That's a miracle. I don't know how they lost to Tennessee. They beat Tennessee because Tennessee couldn't make open shots. Simple as that. JJ, you were going to add something?
No, I was just going to say, adding to KG's point about years past, last season, 2025, 4 ACC teams get into the field. Duke makes it all the way to the Final Four. A good point that Kenton was bringing up, 2024, only 5 teams make it into the NCAA tournament, but 3 of them made it to the Elite 8 when you look at Clemson, Duke, and NC State. And then, of course, NC State knocks off Duke in the Elite 8. Still haven't forgotten about that. Congrats to KG and the Wolfpack.
Forgive us on Monday. Let us have one more, JJ. Let's get one more. That
was a good point you made, Kenton. ACC, we get in the tournament, we make business happen. Now we just want more teams in the field as well.
I think one of those teams that is a sleeper, and Brian actually mentioned it, is Cal. Now, before I say Cal, Kenton, you were talking about NC State and Wolfpack, and people are going to think you're biased. Well, at the time of this recording, NC State's the number 1 team in the ACC in three-point shooting. So they can get hot on any given day, any given night. And because you're the number 1 team in three-point shooting, that means you can beat anyone. Also means you can lose to anyone if you're cold, hence why they have some bad losses on their resume as well, but it won't impact them too much for the NCAA tournament. But Cal, reason why I bring them up is because they're 3rd in the ACC in three-point shooting. They shoot nearly 38% from the three-point line, so they can get hot. They're a team in the ACC tournament that you probably don't want to face because, yeah, they might have an off night and they could lose by 30, but if you catch them in a night where they're shooting 15 of 31 from 3, you're going to lose. And that can happen in a 1-game sudden death type format where it's the ACC tournament or it's the NCAA tournament. So maybe Cal can hit some more shots and they could boost their resume as well. Maybe Virginia Tech can get in as well. And then you have 10 teams from the ACC, which is over half of the conference. Now, coming up here on Locked On ACC, we'll go over the latest ACC standings and give our predictions right now for who we think is going to win the conference, maybe outside of the Duke Blue Devils. So who's the second best team in the conference? We'll talk about it next on Locked On ACC. The biggest stretch of the college basketball season is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the next day. Being there live for something like that, that's bucket list stuff. The hard part is always actually getting the tickets. Long queues, prices jumping around, and surprise fees at checkout. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay. No stress, no guesswork, just a smooth experience from start to finish. That's exactly what you want during the busiest part of the season. Take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code Locked On, LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Welcome to the 5-Hour Energy Flavored Draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, or cotton candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set. Flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5-Hour Energy Draft. I'm a big cotton candy fan, so let's go with cotton candy. 5-Hour Energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar. Find your new favorite flavor of 5-Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. It's the Locked On ACC Squad. I'm Jackson Holzer, host of Locked On Syracuse. Kenton Gibbs, host of Locked On NC State Wolfpack. You got JJ Jackson, host of Locked On Blue Devils, and Brian Smith, host of Locked On Seminoles and the Portal podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. So, because this is Tuesday at the time of this recording and you're listening or watching to this on Thursday, we can't really go over the ACC standings. So I think we're all in agreement here that Duke is the best team in the ACC, if not the entire nation, especially after their victory over the weekend over Michigan. Guys, who do you think is the second best team in the conference? Who's the biggest challenger to the Duke Blue Devils?
I think you can't go anywhere but UVA. I mean, Odom has done
big game on Saturday.
Yeah, Odom's done a hell of a job over there, and I'm going to tell you something. They've got size galore, and you have to have that to match up with Duke. That's the biggest thing that all the other teams at the top of the ACC right now are lacking. The only other team that comes close in size, I would probably say, is Clemson, but they're rumbling, bumbling, stumbling all over themselves. Can't find a win, can't buy a win. I mean, those boys couldn't score in a whorehouse with $1 billion a piece at this point. So I'm kind of sitting up here. Don't snatch our clean rating. And don't get nobody else off this show, David. Like, it's just me. It's just me if you do want to do that. But in all seriousness, they're having problems. So I don't think that there's too many people that can compete with Duke right now. But I think UVA, because of that front court, because of that size, because of their experienced guard play, they have enough of everything that if they catch Duke on an off night, you can get it done. They can potentially get it done. And the way that the ACC tournament is just like the NCAA tournament. It's single elimination. You don't need to beat Duke every day. You don't got to be better than them 99 times out of 100. You just need that one time for them to come in a little lackadaisical. You just need that one time for that free throw shooting to catch up to them. You just need that one time to take advantage of. And I think that UVA, there's multiple worlds where they could come across that one time, more so likely than anybody else.
Well, and then, so when we're recording this, obviously tonight we've got Duke and Notre Dame and then NC State and Virginia. Assuming both teams hold serve there, it makes Saturday's game all the more important with the regular season title up for grabs. Duke right now in the driver's seat with 1 week left to play. Kenton, you talk about one bad shooting night for these teams going into Saturday. Right now set for a noon Eastern tip-off. So my concern would be the game inside Cameron Indoor. Are we, did you wake up well? It's an early morning with this game, rocking and rolling. We'll see how Duke goes. But what they've shown so far this season, I think Duke's in a really good, strong spot here. I'm curious, though, to see what Virginia looks like because that's a team that no one's been talking about nationally. 11th in the country. They've only lost to Butler in a strange non-conference game there. Triple overtime against Virginia Tech and then against North Carolina. So Virginia's done really well throughout the course of the season. So we'll see if they catch Duke waking up on the wrong side of the bed on Saturday when it comes to that big showdown that they've got in Cameron Indoor.
I agree with both of you on that. I just want to throw a little down the road. A team that we never know what you're going to get is Louisville for the ACC tournament. They don't play real well away from home, but I've seen them play live. When they want to pass the ball and play as a team, they could beat a Duke. It's possible, but they could also lose to about anybody too.
Yeah, they have a lot of great scores.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, their individual scores, they tear. I still have nightmares waking up thinking about Michael Brown and what he did to NC State. I mean, him and Cantwell put up 70 points on their own. It was disgusting stuff. So, Brian, you're absolutely right. If those two get hot, it's gonna be tough. But
because we're talking about Virginia, or with Louisville specifically. Michael Brown Jr., Ryan Conwell, what he's able to do. We're not even mentioning Isaac McNeely, who was Virginia's prized possession the last several years, and one of the big reasons that they were so good. And now it's a totally rebuilt Virginia team. But, there are so many individual scores on Louisville that can make things happen.
Louisville's definitely a sleeper just because they had such high preseason expectations, top 5, top 10 team in the country, and they've kind of fallen short of those expectations, but they're still a very good team that is certainly capable of beating anyone in the nation because of their ability to shoot the basketball, which is kind of important in the sport of basketball, being able to shoot at a high level. But the team that everyone here is missing right now is North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's the team that
I was going to bring them up.
They actually, they beat Duke.
They did.
And they did it in a way where they had to come from behind. They were playing an uphill battle the entire game, and eventually Seth Trimble, buzzer beater, wins it, and everyone's stunned because they were trailing the whole game, and they actually finally took a lead, and it was for about 0.5 of a second. How about them? You're talking about size. How about their front court? That's what it comes down to. Now, Caleb Wilson's injury, it does complicate things, but assuming he can get back and he is healthy, it's his non-shooting hand. So in a do-or-die situation, I think he's going to be able to see the court. Right now, they don't really need him. They need him when it's do or die. When he gets back on the court, they are very capable of hanging with the team like Duke, let alone hanging. They're very capable of beating Duke. So in my opinion, I think Carolina is the team that everyone should look at besides Duke in the ACC.
There's only one problem with that theory. Carolina needs – I'm working on a thing for Dave Doran where I put glasses on him where he thinks every team is UNC, and that way NC State plays their best every game. Hubert Davis needs those same glasses just to make every team appear to be Duke. Every time UNC plays Duke, they find a special horseshoe that's hidden in a place that I can't necessarily describe on this show without having our clean ready snatch. So the reality of UNC, they are a great team with a great front court. I will give them that. When Vassar and Wilson are healthy, they are a whole nother level of team. The problem is Hubert Davis is consistently outcoached by everybody except Shire. Every other coach that comes his way draws up just the scheme to make him look bad, except Shire. You got losses.
They could be Louisville without Caleb Wilson.
They got losses to Cal and Stanford. What are we doing here?
I mean, if you look at any team in the ACC, I mean, Virginia, everyone's all high and mighty on Virginia. They lost to Butler. Butler's not very good.
And I do want to add
it happens.
I feel inclined to just throw a little context there. Shire is 5-3 against Hubert Davis, went 3-0 against the Tar Heels last season. Somehow, some way, KG, Carolina only committed one foul in the second half against the Blue Devils in that game. There were no free throw shot. I mean, there's bigger pictures here. Yeah, Hubert Davis beats Coach K in his final game ever. Yes, that's going to be a tidbit there. And apparently, this guy likes to play coach against Duke. But Duke's had his number a little bit as well.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying if you
no free throws in the second half.
Hey, listen,
there were no fouls.
Pat Combs fouls out.
JJ, I'm with you. All I'm saying is the reality of what we're looking at in terms of believing in UNC. The guard play, I don't believe, is there at a high enough level to be that team. But again, like you said, if Vassar and Wilson are healthy and rolling at their highest clip, sure, they can.
Wilson says he's bringing belt to ass to people, man, and he found a way to do that, I guess, down the stretch there. But,
in Raleigh, the belt was holding up his pants on the sideline because he wasn't in the game, so the belt was. Never mind, we ain't got to go there. But yeah, long story short,
that was very clever. Well done.
I appreciate it. I see what you're saying with UNC, and I do agree that if those two are rolling at their highest clip, it's possible. But again, if you could convince them every team is Duke, they'd be fine. Unfortunately, such is not the case. And they will have that one or two games where you're just like, man, what are they doing out there? And again, tournament season is guard season. And if your guards can't get it done, with all due respect, Seth Trimble has been a disappointment at times this year. And name me a guard on Carolina that's been good this year, not named Trimble. Go for it. All righty. I rest my case.
All right. Well, I'm still saying Carolina, but good case, Kenton. Good case. Fellas, any last thoughts?
No, this has been fun. I'm obviously happy Duke's in the driver's seat right now. Hopefully they're able to put together a big tournament run that we're setting up here for folks.
Which tournament run?
Both. I take a lot of pride in that ACC tournament, but obviously sights on 6, man. The 6th, the national championship coming to Durham would be amazing.
I think that Duke is going to win the ACC tournament, and then they're going to lose in the round of 64. Name the 16 seed that's going to upset Duke in the first round. I'm kidding. They're not actually going to do that. Maybe they'll lose in the round of 32. Who's going to be that 8-9 team that gets to play Duke? We'll see. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making the ACC Squad your first listen to the day. And hey, make sure you subscribe and follow the Locked On ACC podcast, as well as the other podcasts here represented here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Myself, Locked On Syracuse, Kenton Gibbs, Locked On Wolfpack, JG Jackson, Locked On Blue Devils, Brian Smith, Locked On Florida State Seminoles, and the Portal Podcast. And hey, if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On ACC ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to Locked On ACC. The link is in the description below. For now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you all again next week on the ACC Squad.